For thousands of years, the St. Lucie Estuary and the Indian River Lagoon have been one of the most beautiful environments in all of Florida. Productive fisheries thrived there, and bird rookeries drew thousands of wading birds. Combined with the natural ebb and flow of the water, it was a peaceful, balanced habitat. Nature was in charge of this little corner of paradise. By the turn of the 20th century, folks from all over had visited and moved here, drawn by the sparkling waters and lush tropical surroundings.
But a flood control system built over the last century is threatening that paradise. Canals designed to get rid of floodwaters have had disastrous consequences. Polluted freshwater from far away is being dumped into our waters, upsetting nature's delicate balance. The results are frightening.
To discover the reasons for this water dumping, the risk it imposes, and the anger that it has caused, we have to embark on a journey both back in time and 50 miles to the west. A journey that will take us to Central Florida, Lake Okeechobee, and the Everglades. For it is in these vast watersheds that the future lies for the St. Lucie Estuary and the Indian River Lagoon.
We'll find out how we got the water wrong and see how a community is working together to make things right.
And how critical it is for all of us to continue these efforts to solve this important environmental issue now.
The Community Foundation for Palm Beach and Martin Counties presents the Indian River Lagoon, Gateway to Saving the Everglades. The Community Foundation works with you to develop solutions to important community issues, such as the environment. The future of the Indian River Lagoon affects us all.
It's a river of grass, America's Everglades, and the second largest wetlands on our planet. And this natural wonder of the world is right here in our backyard. It is so much a part of the lives of South Floridians that, like some backyard attractions, we might take it for granted, even neglect it. But now, Floridians from every walk of life are committed to making sure that this precious, irreplaceable water source is going to be preserved and protected for generations to come.
It's very important to everyone in the nation. If we can restore the Florida Everglades and the South Florida ecosystem, then perhaps we can do that everywhere across the country.
We have developed a partnership with our federal partners, the Army Corps of Engineers, and we have project development teams that work together on each of the roughly 65 projects. Together, they make up the overall $8.4 billion Everglades restoration plan.
The surviving wet Everglades covers over 1.5 million square acres in South Florida, and hundreds of plant and animal species, many of them endangered, call this river of grass their home. When you look at the maps of what was and what is, the task is formidable. This is the natural system we inherited. The blues and greens show how wet it was and how it was all connected. This is South Florida today. Here in the middle of the Sawgrass Slough, little has changed on the surface. But this peaceful serenity can be deceiving, for the Everglades is surely one of the most complex ecosystems in the world. The Greater Everglades ecosystem is not just the grassy slough that flows through Everglades National Park. When we talk about the Everglades, we have to look at all the pieces that make it work. The Everglades system is all about water. Decades of building canals and dikes to drain the land and change the way the water works have disturbed the timing, flow, and even the quality of the water in the natural system. All components of our water system must be kept in a perfect, delicate balance. Too little fresh water leads to saltwater intrusion in our drinking water supply. Too much fresh water can lead to the destruction of estuaries. It all must be in a perfect balance. Without this complex freshwater system, South Florida, otherwise surrounded by the salt waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, could not sustain life. Florida has the world's second largest wetland because nature has found ways to hold the water on the land. All this wetness has left us with amazing riches, and for now, plenty of fresh drinking water for all. At the top of the Everglades system, water from central Florida winds through the serpentine oxbows of the Kissimmee River. Historically, these twists and turns slowed down the water and acted as a filtration system to clean it and keep the big lake healthy. The shoreline marshes and the bass in Lake Okeechobee depend on water from the Kissimmee River to the north. And finally, the Keys and Florida Bay and our coral reefs depend on getting the water right from the Everglades.
But as South Florida faced rapid development in this last century, it put a strain on this natural system. So what went wrong?
Simply stated, when the growth boom hit Florida after World War II, the water had to be controlled. Controlled through the digging of ditches and canals and the construction of control structures and spillways. In 1947, it rained 100 inches in South Florida, and a very wet September hurricane came through, leaving massive flooding in its path. In the name of flood control, a giant state and federal project changed the face of South Florida's waterways. The purpose of the Central and South Florida Flood Control Project was to get rid of excess water as quickly as possible through long, straight ditches. But sometimes there is no place to get rid of the water, and Lake Okeechobee gets too full. When the water rises in the big lake, people remember the 1928 hurricane. Thousands were drowned when the lake overflowed its banks. When the lake dike is threatened, there is no place for the water to go but out. The big releases occur on the sides of the lake into the Caloosahatchee River to the west and the St. Lucie Estuary and Indian River Lagoon to the east. The rapid release of this massive amount of water into these sensitive estuarine environments is devastating. Peak runoff flows from canals bring silt and nutrients. Those help to build the layer of black, greasy ooze that has been growing in the middle estuary, where the St. Lucie River turns salty and then joins the Indian River. The saltwater levels in the estuaries, necessary to sustain seagrasses and oysters, are thrown dangerously off balance by the fresh water. All the life dependent on normal estuarine salinities either dies or leaves.
Fortunately for Florida, there is good news. These water resources, although strained, have the resiliency to bounce back. Take away the peak flows of dirty canal runoff, and the estuary will recover. It's not Humpty Dumpty. It can be put back together again. The commitment is there.
There is unprecedented agreement between individuals and diverse groups that the Indian River Lagoon Restoration Plan is not only critical to our region, but is a major first step toward restoring the Everglades. The Community Foundation for Palm Beach and Martin counties is addressing the restoration of the Everglades, as well as many other environmental issues through projects such as this documentary.
But the job won't be easy, and not everyone believes that restoring America's Everglades is a national priority.
The Community Foundation for Palm Beach and Martin counties is a leader in developing solutions to needs in our community. We can help you be part of the solution by establishing a permanent endowment to carry out your charitable giving. The Community Foundation makes grants to nonprofit organizations, and we connect people who care with causes that matter. Cost-effective management of endowments is our trademark. Whether you're concerned about the environment, children, the elderly, scholarships for promising students, the arts, or other needs, the Community Foundation can help with your charitable giving. Call the Community Foundation for Palm Beach and Martin Counties at 561-659-6800 or visit our website at www.yourcommunityfoundation.org.
When you're up to your, let's rephrase that. When you're surrounded by alligators, you need to find a solution. When people realized our water resources were in danger, we knew we needed to act.
In 1992, Congress commissioned a plan to save the Everglades. It was a plan that was a result of years of research and information from across a broad section of interest.
That's an important milestone, but it's a milestone. We've still got much to do in the future, and a lot of that is going to happen around the Indian River Lagoon because in the plan it happens to be one of the first areas in which there'll be some serious activity towards the completion of that comprehensive Everglades plan.
This is a problem that has to be fixed. Now that the plan's been developed, your senators will work very hard to make sure it will be implemented.
Everglades restoration enjoys bipartisan support. The Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan, or CERP, is complete. In 2000, Congress authorized the larger overall plan with the idea that separate components would be authorized every 2 years in the Biennial Water Resources Development Act. But there was no Water Resources Act in 2002 or 2003. If there are no Everglades projects in the Water Resources Act of 2004, hopes begin to dim for continuous authorization and funding. That's why it's so important to keep the momentum going now.
We're all working to ensure that we have an approved project approved by the Secretary of the Army this spring for the Indian River Lagoon CERP project, which would then be authorized and funded in the Water Resources Development Act of 2004.
In the near term, our biggest goal as a community is to get this project funded by Congress. Once funded, the South Florida Water Management District is confident that it will move ahead and get built in a timely fashion.
We can fix the Everglades. If we don't fix the Everglades, they won't be there for us or our children. We've got a plan to do that, and it will take about 30 years to implement it, but at the end, we will have restored the Everglades. First big project of the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan is the Indian River Lagoon Plan. We've got that plan complete. There's a feasibility study that's been complete, and we're expecting Congress to authorize the plan in 2004. There was an environmental disaster that was unfolding there. The local people made a lot of noise. In some places, environmental damage is subtle. In the Indian River Lagoon, an epidemic of sick fish with ugly sores made the damage the canals were doing real clear to us, and it made local residents really mad. It's first because they had so much trouble there that they asked for and got a jump start on doing a detailed feasibility study. The feasibility study is complete, and we're ready to go.
Folks up here in Martin and St. Lucie County will tell you about the grim damage from dirty canal water, but they'll also tell you this is a beautiful place worth saving. The best news, it's not too late. The winding headwaters of the South Fork of the St. Lucie River have been preserved. It's still a magic place and will remain that way if we can get the water right.
Let me show you what it's like downstream on a good day when dirty runoff isn't spoiling things.
Where the St. Lucie River meets the Indian River Lagoon and the inlet opens up to the Atlantic Ocean, there's water everywhere. All that water means having fun. Fun for all ages.
It's about all things great and small, and the amazing diversity of life on the grass flats.
Our manatees love these waters, so do all kinds of folks. When the canals and locks and spillways are dumping dirty water into the estuary, the picture gets ugly.
The Indian River Lagoon is part of the National Estuary Program, which means it's the most diverse ecosystem in the entire North America, having more plants and animals than anywhere else in North America. What's happening though is we're having these troubled waters of polluted fresh water discharging into the system and creating a lot of pollution and fish kills that are unnecessary. The Florida Oceanographic is monitoring these on a weekly basis with water quality monitoring through citizens' water quality.
The DEP responds to fish kills. When fish are sick, that's an indication that the water is unhealthy, and when the fish are dead, that indicates the water's not survivable.
Folks have recognized for a long time that their estuary was hurting. They've been complaining to Congress since 1933 about what canal discharges were doing. In the 90s, heavy rains spawned by El Niño saturated South Florida. Folks in Martin and St. Lucie County learned the hard way that things could get a lot worse. The scientists called it the appearance of lesioned fish. Local residents thought it looked like something out of a horror movie. They didn't know what caused it, but it correlated with the big canal discharges. Rage was the public's answer when the dirty water and the dirty fish reached epidemic proportions.
Well, dirty water's a scary situation. They want to reduce it to economics. Around here, water is our business. That's the reason that we live here, because of the water. That's what drives the tourism. That's what drives the fishing industry. That's what drives the boating industry. And dirty water's just a scary situation. Tremendous impact.
Residents in the area kept right on raging until they found that Everglades Restoration was talking about solutions. The dirty water didn't stop pouring in, and the fish didn't suddenly get better, and the folks didn't get over being mad. But at last, something was being done, and residents kept the pressure on.
The hope is that we get the IRL project approved this fall in WRDA 04, and that we get it constructed and implemented. In the meantime, we're looking at revising the regulation schedule of Lake Okeechobee to keep that lake at a lower level. Over the course of the year, we could look at limiting the amount of water discharged into the St. Lucie estuary, for example.
There's four major components to getting the water right in the St. Lucie estuary in the Indian River Lagoon area. Well, one of the solutions is the construction of above-ground freshwater storage reservoirs. Currently, when too much fresh water runs off too quickly because of heavy rainfall and over-drainage, it's sent to the St. Lucie estuary and the Indian River Lagoon. Stormwater treatment areas are the second big component. As water flows out of the reservoirs, it'll pass through these shallow man-made marshes. Water quality will be restored by removing phosphorus and nitrogen. The project calls for about 9,000 acres of stormwater treatment areas. Both of these structural components will be built on old farmlands where natural resources have already been destroyed. Well, restoration of natural areas is the third major component. About 90,000 acres in Martin and St. Lucie County will be restored to natural habitat and natural drainage patterns. Because restoring these areas will reduce the amount of runoff and release it in a slow natural cycle, major water quality and quantity benefits can be achieved without pumps or reservoirs. And finally, we're going to deuse the river by removing almost 6 million cubic yards of what we call flocculent muck. Getting rid of the ooze removes pollutants and improves water clarity. It's a comprehensive solution that's all about environmental restoration. We're very proud of what we're doing at the Corps.
It's a plan that seems to have approval across the political and environmental spectrum.
The Indian River Lagoon is an environmental restoration success story just waiting to happen. By truly making the promise of restoration a reality on the Indian River Lagoon, the Corps can set an effective pace for real restoration progress across the entire Everglades system.
The Rivers Coalition is made up of numerous organizations from Martin and St. Lucie counties, a half a dozen chambers of commerce, builders association, Audubon societies, the Realtor Association, conservation groups, civic organizations. The Rivers Coalition wants to see the health of the St. Lucie River and Indian River Lagoon restored because it's not only a quality of life issue that we're dealing with, it's economic sustainability, long-term economic sustainability.
Doug Bernique of the Indian River Citrus League speaks for an industry that's important to the region's economy.
We support this plant fully and will push with the rest of the citizens of the East Coast to make sure it's fully funded.
The sugar industry is also a big user of water and has a lot at stake with the Everglades restoration. They also support the plan.
The Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan is a unique partnership between the state and federal government and our local communities. It represents our best hope of restoring and preserving our environment. The Indian River Lagoon Plan is the first component of that comprehensive plan that is ready to move forward. We support the SERP and we support the Indian River Lagoon Plan, and we are standing ready to go shoulder to shoulder with supporters to move forward and fully fund and implement this plan.
Bud Jordan has headed up a group of business people concerned about the river for more than 10 years.
Our group is St. Lucie River Initiative. We're formed in Stuart, Florida, primarily by business people interested in the environment. We're interested in the restoration of the St. Lucie River and its estuaries, and we look forward to seeing that in the future, and we're going to stick with it until we get there.
Local conservationists are delighted with the plan. And beyond the Rivers Coalition, dozens of local clubs have passed resolutions endorsing the plan to save the river. They come from all walks of life and backgrounds. This community is keeping its commitment.
I'm very enthusiastic about the cleanup project. It's going to bring the community together, and I'm especially excited that my grandchildren will have a place that they can go to and play and just have a good time.
The amount of local support for the restoration has been incredible. Over 3,000 acres of land has been acquired for water retention to improve the Everglades and the lagoon. Local government has generated over $40 million to assist state and federal efforts on restoring the lagoon and the Everglades. This kind of local support is unprecedented. It's generous, and it's going to make success a reality.
The $40 million will be used to buy the land necessary to implement the plan.
Well, it's very important that we all continue working together. We have our family fights, and there are different interests involved, but Democrats and Republicans have come together, I think, in making this historic project, not only historic because it's the largest environmental restoration cleanup in the history of the world, but also it's historic because of the fact that we brought these various groups together, the agricultural interest, the business interest, and the environmentalists, and we brought the Democrats and Republicans together, and everybody can take some credit for this wonderful project.
So much optimism and so much support. But in the late summer of 2003, the locks opened to dump dirty water into the estuary. Once again, congressional authorization of the Indian River Lagoon Plan was delayed.
The canals overflowed. The sick fish came back. Once again, the community rallied in protest. On September 27, 2003, on National Estuaries Day, an estimated 800 people showed up at the St. Lucie locks to express their concern. Their frustration was being felt by many.
I think that all our goals are the same, and that I would encourage everyone to work together and unify our position and be a unified voice to Congress and agree on the 98% of the things we can agree on.
The key to the restoration of the Everglades will be the number of Americans, Floridians first, but the rest of the country also, who understand the value of the Everglades and are willing to make a personal commitment to see the Everglades saved. This is going to be a 25-year project from plan to completion, and there will be some bumps in the road. If you'd like to contact our office or other members of the congressional delegation, this has not been, and we should work hard to avoid it ever becoming a partisan issue. Republicans like Governor Bush and like my former colleague Connie Mack and Clay Shaw and Porter Goss and many others in our state and federal delegations have been strongly supportive of this, as have many Democrats such as myself. So it's important that the citizens become involved to be sure that this is an American project, not a project that belongs to any particular group of Americans.
Whatever state you come from, this is America's Everglades. If we can start here and we can start now, we will save the Everglades. Write your congressman now. Tell them it's time to begin the restoration of the Everglades. It's one project to begin making things better in Florida. The Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan and the Indian River Lagoon Plan. They're both about starting a series of projects to get the water right for all of us and for our great-grandchildren. The sunrise on a healthy Indian River will be sunrise on restoring the greater Everglades to St. Lucie Estuary and the Indian River Lagoon. We can do it, working together as a community.
If you want to learn more about the Indian River Lagoon Restoration Plan and how you can be a part of the solution, visit our website today at www.yourcommunityfoundation.org.
The Community Foundation for Palm Beach and Martin Counties is a leader in developing solutions to important needs in our community. We can help you become part of the solution. The Community Foundation connects people who care with causes that matter through professionally managed permanent endowments. Establishing a permanent endowment is the effective way to carry out your charitable giving. And your endowment will benefit our community today, tomorrow, and forever. The Community Foundation has broad-based expertise in making grants to nonprofit organizations that offer both innovative and time-tested solutions, bringing together people, resources, and ideas to develop new approaches to local concerns, and helping busy people like you establish permanent endowments that provide support for issues that you care about. Cost-effective management of endowments is our trademark. The Community Foundation has integrity and the know-how to get things done. Whether you're concerned about the environment, children, the elderly, scholarships for promising students, the arts, or other needs, the Community Foundation can help with your charitable giving. To learn how we can assist you to be part of the solution, call 561-659-6800 or visit our website at www.yourcommunityfoundation.org. The Community Foundation for Palm Beach and Martin Counties, helping you make our community a better place to live.